Around 1 p.m.
Yeah, 1 p.m. ish. Today we're going to be talking about fix and flip and the strategy behind it. But what is a fix and flip, you might ask? And it's not the typical what you may think. It's not the, hey, we're going to go buy an investment property, fix it up and flip it and resell it. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about upgrading your home, upgrading your life. So we're actually going to be talking a little bit about how to fix and flip your house.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, so at the end of this video, we're going to give you a done-for-you system.
Yeah, a little done
how
for you
you
system.
can fix and flip your own house.
There you go. So so excited to really talk about this. And I think as we're looking at how to do this, first we got to talk about a few different things. Like nothing starts in real estate, in anything, before motivation. It all comes down to motivation. So yeah, so in order for someone to move, there has to be some sort of pain associated or some sort of pleasure, right? We only do something for pain or pleasure. So like, what's your motivation as far as wanting a new house, right? So a lot of times it's like, I want to buy a new house, but interest rates are too high. I want to buy a new house, but there's not as many homes on the market right now. Like there's all of these different stories that we tell ourselves. Everyone has different situations. But looking at what your motivation is and what your goal is, a lot of times people will start by looking at properties that they see like online on Zillow or Redfin, and they start to just dream. And they're looking at houses that are 1.5 million, but it's like, I can really afford 850, right? So being realistic in the goals that you have set. And I think this video is more geared towards people that have currently own a home and maybe want to maximize their profit. Maybe they have a larger, maybe you have a larger, a family that's growing and you want more space. Maybe you want a little bit bigger yard. Maybe you want a little more room, maybe an office, an extra office, or a pool, or a specific neighborhood. The needs are endless for every different person. I don't know exactly what all of your needs are, but as you're looking at those needs, it's how do I line that up and how do I figure out what's important to me to move? So
what is a fix and flip?
Yeah.
And to let them know how they would know their house is like the best candidate for this fix and flip strategy.
Yeah. So typically when you hear flipping homes or fix and flip or flip or flop, or you see like these HGTV shows, that sounded really funny.
Flip or flop.
But when you see these shows,
picturing fish now.
Yeah, love it or list it.
People love it or list it. People are going in and they're buying these houses that are busted, right? Just need a lot of work. They're usually buying them for well under market value. And they're coming in, fixing it up, selling it for a profit. I'm sure you've seen some of those shows before. So a fix and flip is exactly that. You're buying a house under market, you're putting money into it, and then you're selling it for a profit. Same thing. But what if I could tell you that you could fix and flip your own house? That your house may be an opportunity for you to increase the cash flow. So then you're probably wondering, Brandon and Vanessa, how do I do that to my own house? Well, you already own your house. You have a loan on your house. And depending on your equity, you may have different opportunities as far as having cash readily available to do upgrades and fix up your house to sell it. But you also have access to people like us that have resources and financial help to help you fix and flip your own home. So we're talking to people that want to make more money so that they can on their sales, so that they can buy a larger house or save a little bit of money on the monthly payment, because that's what we're finding. Most people are monthly payment conscious right now because the interest rates are higher. And so how do we offset that? So we kind of came up with a strategy that we think will be a big help to you. Now, the good news is if you flipped your own house and basically made some upgrades, sold it for more, you're going to make more money. So it's going to help on your purchase side. But if you have a smaller house that you're selling, let's just say an entry-level house, maybe 1,600 square feet or smaller, you're going to be selling that for a higher profit. And if you buy a house at a like a larger home, 2,500, 3,000 square foot plus, you're typically going to buy it at a discounted rate. So you're going to sell on the high end of an entry level home, and you're going to buy a little bit on the low end because you're going to buy on the lower end of a higher size home or a better neighborhood, because the higher price homes are the ones that are typically going to take longer to sell, and they're also going to have price reductions more often. So there are some benefits to that.
So how would they know, so you're questioning, how would I know my house is even a good candidate for this? And it starts with actually knowing what your house currently would sell for, and then looking at what we would call the after repair value, the ARV. So that's looking at now other homes that are comparable to yours that do have upgrades or do have newer flooring or new kitchen or new bathrooms. And so we look at that, and if that gap is a good one, so let's say your home may be priced at a lower range because maybe it is dated, because it does have older cabinetry or tile countertops or something like that. But knowing that we can invest such a certain amount to upgrade those things, and now knowing after we do that, the after repair value is, let's say, $80,000, $100,000 more than what if you were to sell it at this very moment.
Yeah. And that's really good. If you can understand what the value is now and what the future value is, and then the next thing you're going to look at is the actual repair cost. Like, what repairs do I make? And that's something that it's hard for sometimes to look at, of like, okay, well, I don't know how much this is actually going to cost to fix. And I don't know what the value of this, of what it's going to bring, because some of the questions we get all the time is, should I make this repair? And sometimes it's yes or no. Like, if someone's looking on selling their house, should I make this repair and should I redo this bathroom? Or should I paint the house? Well, is it going to add value at the end of the day? And if you do a few things here and there, sometimes it actually brings out some of the other things in the house that people don't like. It almost showcases other things. So there are simple fix-ups you can do, and there are things you could do to make your house look like the best buy on the block and be seen as a model type home. But what we found is, if you have a gap between what your house is now and the ARV, or after repair value, the larger the gap, the more opportunity it is for you to come in and redo a kitchen or bathroom that are really, really going to add value. So a fix and flip, normally when you buy a house, it's going to take, you acquire the property, you have the demo, you have the rehab, you have all these things. It's typically going to take 4 to 6 months to do. But flipping your own house could take a few weeks, could take a few weekends, could maybe take 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the amount of work, if you're talking kitchens and bathrooms. And so then you're like, well, I don't want to deal with all the contractors, and I don't want to deal with all the handymen and all the tradesmen and stuff like that. And it's pretty common. So there are ways that, like, if you had somewhere to stay in the interim and we could bring a team in, there are ways that you can get that stuff done. You may have connections or relationships with different tradesmen where you can save some money. There's lots of options there. But first, you need to determine what it is you're actually going to fix and upgrade, and about how much that will cost. So it comes down to budget at that point.
Yeah, so definitely taking a look at your current budget of what you have, because that's going to play a role into what you are going to fix up. It's also going to play a role in how much you want that gap to be, so that you can have extra for that down payment for the next house. And so there are the different upgrades that you can do that are high impact, such as flooring. If they are really dated, you can definitely, we always talk about this, updating your kitchen and bathrooms are always one of the biggest things. Taking a look at the front yard, the front door, those are definitely some areas that you want to look at and keep your eyes on. So that, in doing that, when you're able to hire a team and you're completing all the products, we kind of see this range that you're able to sell your home for anywhere, and this is a big range, anywhere from $20,000 more to $150,000 more. So that can increase the value of your home quite a bit.
Yeah, and if we just meet somewhere in the middle, like let's say around 75,000, like what kind of house would you be able to buy with an extra 75,000? Quite a bit. That changes. I have conversations with first-time home buyers, and often we're talking about, man, an extra $25,000 puts you in a whole different neighborhood. And that could be the same for you as well when you're moving up into a larger home. And so that it does sound like a big gap, But at the end of the day, each house is very specific. And so let me just tell you a story. A client we had recently, amazing family, had a house. It was about 1,600 square feet. It did have a pool, but it needed some love. It needed some work. And so we get together, we talk, we'll say, okay, well, this house is probably right now worth about $475,000. But, I have some ideas. What if we, put on new baseboards? What if you painted the inside of the house? What if you retextured in some areas? And so we came up with a very specific list. Let's change out the carpet in the bedrooms. We came out with, and the front yard needed also some love. Like the curb appeal was not there. So pulled all the weeds, did some stucco patch, did some actual work. It was quite a bit, but from our relationships and connections, we were able to help them create a budget and then get them some work completed, some of which were actually paid through escrow, which is a whole nother conversation. But they were able to spend about a little less than $8,000 total. And we were going to list their house for $475 in its current condition. And, they worked hard. We worked hard. We partnered together and they spent a little less than $8,000. And we ended up listing their house for $500,000. And we actually had 8 offers. This is recently. We had 8 offers and they ended up selling the house for $520,000. So, when you look at that, you're like, man, that's a $45,000 gap. They spent $7,000. What kind of return is that? And that was minimal work too. Just painting and a few extra things. We didn't even replace the countertops. We didn't even do a lot of the major things. Yeah. And if we would have done that and they had more time, we possibly could have done those things. But either way, they increased so much in value in like a month or two period that they were able to then, that extra money that they made gave them exactly what they needed to get into the new home they wanted with a humongous lot that they never thought they'd even have access to. But because of that extra money that they made, they were able to get a larger yard, which was very important to them. They were able to get a house that they wanted over 2,200 square feet. Like they had some very specific things they wanted in the school district they wanted to be in. So they did the extra work. And, there are different markets out there. So depending on the time of the market, you're going to have more money that you're going to make in different markets. But we're talking about this is within a few months. So this is recently. So there are opportunities to maximize your value. And I know that, some of you may be watching this and saying, well, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to manage all the tradesmen. I don't want to create a budget. I don't want to have to deal with all that. So we kind of have a solution for you. We can help you do it on your own. But we have another solution that might also be beneficial.
I love that story because I think so many times we talk about upgrades and all that kind of stuff. And I know my mind anyway, always goes to like, oh my gosh, that's going to be like $20,000 to update my house and get it ready. And it's just always a higher price tag for whatever reason. But this was literally less than $7,000. And I think you said 8.
Yeah, it was less than 8. I know that. So 7 probably.
So with that being said, that money, we're trying to be so conscious of our clients' money, period, because that's our job, is to make them the most money possible. So that means spending the least amount possible as well. And part of that comes in with just the experience we have. It comes with the staging training that I have. It comes with all of that. And so we look at the space and we're looking at it through the eyes of buyers, right? Because when they walk into a home, they're always thinking, why don't I want to buy this house? It's just natural for them to look at that because they're looking at inheriting this property with its problems and all. And so we really want to look at the things that are going to eliminate their thoughts of, ooh, I'm going to have to fix that, or I need to fix that before I move into this house. Because as soon as they see one issue, they all begin to compound on each other. And so we try to take those biggest things away so that they can say, oh, there's some patchwork, because they had pictures hung on the wall. Okay, not a big deal. Not, oh my gosh, there's a huge hole in the wall. They must not be taking care of their house and their kids just blew it. I just think of it because we have a hole in our wall right now. We have 3. One's dented. One's a big hole like this. And the other one was a small hole. that they just kept picking at.
4 boys. That's what happens.
Yeah, that one got fixed, but the big hole, they just keep putting Legos in the hole.
They're going to fill it up.
So either way, it doesn't matter, because when you're living in a home, you're going to find yourself in the position even that we're in. There are things that need to be fixed up, but it does not need to take a whole lot of money to fix those things up and allow the buyers walking through your home to really be able to envision themselves there. So what we're offering is this ability for you to partner, for us to partner with you in helping with that. It's not just project management, but it's also using our money and our time, and our expertise in helping you create a game plan and help walk this out. So
yeah, and the benefit of that is everybody, I would say, wants to make the most amount of money on selling their house. And in many cases, maybe people are under a time constraint and they can't do that, or they're under a financial constraint and they can't do that. And so when we sat down and we're like, how can we help more families? It really comes down to, can we help them make more money? And if we can help them make more money, then they can find the community that they really want to raise their kids in, or they really want to live in. And that's really what all this stemmed from. And so, there's a lot we covered here, but I'm sure you want to know, well, do I qualify for a fix and flip on my own house? Would my house be a good candidate? And so in order to find out if your house is a good candidate for a fix and flip, to partner with us, or for us to help you do it on your own, either way is fine. You just want to book a discovery call with us. So the link's going to be down in the comments or in the description. And you can book a discovery call and we can talk more about your situation, to be able to run some quick numbers and give you an idea if it makes sense for you. But I'll tell you, everyone's waiting because everyone, and I've said this in a lot of videos, but most people have low interest rates, right? Under 4%. They're like, I don't want to buy at 6.5 or 7. But what if you did make an extra $50,000 to $100,000? Because what happens, guys, when interest rates go down? When interest rates go down, everybody is going to be listing their house. Everybody is going to be buying houses. The competition is going to be crazy, and the prices are going to go up even more. Right now, every single year, guys, in August, you see a dip in the market. You see less houses selling. You see it slow down, which means prices are improving. So right now, in this weird spot of the year, as we see a decline in the market, right now would be a great time to fix up your house, sell it, make extra profit, be able to get into that neighborhood. And then when interest rates go down, you could just refinance anyways. So go ahead and book a discovery call with us today. We'd be happy to help you with whatever your needs are. And whether we set a plan for 6 weeks, 2 months, or the next 6 to 9 months, it doesn't matter to us. But we can help you do it quickly and efficiently and help maximize your profit when selling your home. And we are here to help. So thanks so much, guys. We will see you next week, where we'll be talking about all kinds of fun stuff.
Wednesday around 1-ish.
Around 1. See you guys.
105, 107.